Okay, we're joined with Stephen Fawcett, Mike McDonald, head of tonight's Fred Conway Cumberland Cup, I think it's round 2, against Workington Reds. Stephen, your thoughts going into the game?
Just really looking forward, to be honest, Pandey. Obviously we've had 2 failed attempts down at the Reds, where they kind of went against us both weeks. So obviously we get the opportunity of a switch, which there's pros and cons whichever way you look at it, but at the end of the day, a home game, can't ask for any more than that. Hopefully get a few down, cheering the lads on, and they'll rise to the challenge, because it will no doubt be a tough test.
Yeah, Mike, maybe a little bit of lack of match sharpness tonight, as we're coming in off the back of a few postponed games. Lads were down training last night. How did that session go?
Yeah, good session. As I said, it was obviously a light session for what obviously we were facing tonight. Just a bit more of what we've been doing there. We had an effective session before the Hartlepool game, which seems about 3 years ago now. So yeah, it was a good session, a positive session, and like I say, nothing too physical. We'd obviously one eye on tonight's game. So hopefully we'll put some of that into tonight's performance. Yeah,
speaking of tonight's performance, Stephen, obviously it's a change of opponent. Working, we don't know what they're going to come with. We've got to look at it as if they are a team that is much higher than us on the Football League pyramid. Does anything change in terms of preparation to go into games like this?
Not really. I think naturally you're probably braced for a tougher test. As you said, you got step 4 Reds player, don't they, versus Ulster or step 7, I guess. So naturally you've got to be expecting a really tough game, regardless. As to have no idea, as you say, what kind of team they're going to have. But at the end of the day, it's working against Windscale, and that's what will go in the record books after the game. But we've got to play to our strengths. It's pointless, going out and just kind of sitting on your line for 90 minutes hoping to sneak something. That's not kind of how we'll approach the game. The lads will be, kind of focused. They'll know they're going to have to work really hard. They're all things that I would say for any wayside game, to be honest, Panda. So I think we're just kind of braced for a tough test, but also looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Mike, this is a cup game. Things could be rotated, I'm not too sure. We've not had any team news as of yet. Do you see this as a competition where you could go all the way and possibly lift that trophy at the end?
Well, let's think about tonight, what we've been doing lately. I mean, fixtures have been really sparse. We've got no fixture on Saturday. Obviously, we've had a number of postponements, obviously against the Reds. We went from, obviously, I think we had 3 games in a week to 0. So obviously we haven't got really too many worries injury-wise. We've got a couple of lads who've kind of cleaned up with the niggles that they've had. And so we're healthy that way. Tonight, we were talking, we're linked to 3 substitutions, which I don't think Reds have that in their league, which I'm positive we don't in our league. So it's a bit of a newbie for both clubs to kind of embrace that. As far as going further in the competition, I think we've got to be honest. We're looking for a performance of the lads and to be able to compete. And like Stephen said, go and do the things that we believe in. If Reds come with half the first team, well, let's have no bones about it. It's going to be really, really tough for us to progress. So I think it's just let's try and get our own house in order and grow into the game and kind of rate the game as it goes. I don't think we can kind of look any further than that. I'd like, it's a funny old game, football. We don't know, we've just got some World Cup games, some daft results, Saudi Arabia, Japan to beat, so you can take a bit of influence from that as well, and inspiration that anybody can beat anybody on the day. So let's hope tomorrow night it might be, it might not be. In the main, looking for a really good showing from the lads.
Absolutely, best luck, gents.
Cheers.
Okay, here we are after the game, joined with Stephen Fawcett and Mike McDonald. Boys, 2-1 defeat to arguably a well-organised side. Stephen, should have summed that one up for us?
We just said to the lads there, we feel really disappointed. I think we're the better side. I'm not, I'm generally really honest in my opinion. I don't, you know, just say that for the sake of it. I thought we created the better chances. It's not like us to kind of miss the chances that we did today. A lot, you know, fair play to the Reds. They punished us in the first half when we made, you know, 2 mistakes kind of halfway up the field, and probably 10-15 seconds later the ball's in the back of the net, and that's the quality that they have, and you know, loads of credit to them for that. But then I feel, you know, in the general balance of play, we hurt them a lot. We just didn't put it in the net, whereas I didn't feel in the general play they were kind of hurting us. You know, when we made a mistake, they pounced on it, and then it was a fairly easy game. But like I say, I just felt we you know, were kind of on top more. And yeah, so on the basis of all that, I feel kind of disappointed that we've come off on the wrong side of the scoreline.
Yeah, just to elaborate on what Forsey said, Mike, does this feel like a hard-done defeat?
Yeah, I feel disappointed. The lads feel disappointed in some respects. We feel like we haven't got what we kind of deserved out of it. And it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because obviously I'm really happy with the levels of what we've done. The conditions deteriorated obviously because the weather's been how it is. I thought we managed the conditions better than they did as the game went on, and we still managed to produce some quality in the conditions. So yeah, I'm disappointed, but there's a little bit of happiness with the level of performance that we've showed. And it's a tough one for the lads to get their heads up right at this minute, but I feel down the track a bit we can maybe let the lads get their heads up. I think they deserve that. They deserve the beating after the game. Yeah, so I'm disappointed. That's the overall feeling at the minute.
Yeah, Forsey, we've now got a bit of an extended break to our next game. So what's the plan for the next week or so?
Yeah, no, it's kind of, you know, probably would have quite like to have gone again on Saturday on the back of today, you know, get a rhythm going. But yeah, we've got no game Saturday, so then we'll train Tuesday as normal, and then tough game away at Silksworth on the 3rd of December. So we've got the 3rd, the 10th and the 17th, 2 of them away, 1 at home. It's really important that we finish strong. We're kind of just propped up nicely in a decent position, but there's loads of teams around us that kind of, you know, could be saying the same. But if we just keep ticking over with the points, get to the new year, and then we'll kind of reassess then, you know, where we're at and what we need to do to kind of hit our targets for this season, really.
Yeah, absolutely. As Stephen says, Mike, we play Silksworth, who we also happen to play in the Cup semi-final, which will be coming into us in the new year. Do you see this as sort of maybe a dress rehearsal, albeit away from home?
No, I just see it as a league game. Like, as I said, they're in and around us in the league. I don't think Silksworth set off this season particularly well. They've picked up form, and it seems to be like the Silksworth that we've encountered quite a number of times. So, no, I think we can just forget about the semi-final and just let's look at this the Christmas running, which is going to be really tough. It's you know, it's not going to be easy going to Silksworth, and it's not going to be easy going to Richmond on the travels. And you know, them teams are kind of in and around us in the league, and you can really define where we finish at Christmas, you know, on the back of those results. So we've just got to focus on that, earn our Christmas dinners and Christmas breaks and whatever, and hopefully come back firing again. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cheers, gents.
Cheers.
Well done. There's been a few shocks in the World Cup so far, but a surprise result in England tonight in the County Cup.
Yeah, I'm delighted. I think obviously coming here with a really young side, I think obviously we always knew it was going to be a really tough game against a good team, good opposition, experienced team as well. So obviously I'd like to come here with a few more first team players to get the boys a few minutes, but obviously with the injury list at the moment I've got to be very careful with how many players I put at risk. I thought tonight the young boys stood up to every challenge that was set in front of them. I thought they were absolutely different class. Obviously the 3 senior lads that didn't play tonight, obviously it was great to see Robbie Hempson back on the pitch after 14 odd months of not being played. He's worked so hard to get him back on the footy pitch, and I was delighted for him, and it was good to get an hour in the tank. And then obviously Danny Eccles getting the 90 minutes and doing really well, and then obviously the lad who's on trial at the moment done fantastically well also, but it can't take away anything from the young lads. I thought the young lads were absolutely different class tonight. I think obviously we spoke in the dressing room afterwards. 60, a good few 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and with obviously 19, 20-year-olds. So tonight to come here, put in the performance that they did, and get the result they did, they're a credit to themselves, and it's great to see the work that Cully and Mal are doing behind the scenes that's been able to get us into where we are now.
You handed the skipper's armband to Danny Eccles, unusual for a goalkeeper to captain the side, but he led by example throughout. Superb performance from him.
Yeah, fantastic. Calm and composed when we needed him to be in possession. A real leader out of possession. Obviously, when you go 2-1 with 10-15 minutes to go, it's kind of easy to drop into your box and get deep, but Danny wouldn't let them, and he was squeezing them up, and the boys responded to it, kept the high line, and obviously I think there was a goal-mouth scramble, but I think there was chances at both ends after that. So look, I thought Danny was tremendous tonight, and it's credit to himself again, because I asked him if he wanted to play tonight or if he wanted the night off, and he wanted to come and play, and it's a testament to him as a lad that he wanted to come and put in a performance that he has tonight.
You brought in a trialist tonight and he impressed. Can you tell us a bit more about him?
Yeah, obviously he's been training with us for a few weeks. I've been desperate to sort of see him in a game and see what he's like on a sort of a bigger area. I thought he was fantastic tonight. I thought he's kind of what we're looking for at the moment in someone who'll get the ball and travel with the ball. I think obviously we are light on numbers in the wide areas. We only have Dav, Ruben and Jordan at the moment, sort of with all three wingers. So again, it's somewhere we are looking at strengthening, and I felt tonight he's not done himself any harm, that's for sure.
He's had a 3-hour journey to get here, and then after 3 minutes he scores a fantastic goal.
It's not a bad start, is it? I said that to him, one of his first touches, he smashed it in the top corner. So look, I was delighted for him, and again, credit to him, because he could have quite easily said, look, it's too far for me to come and have a game type thing in a sort of a reserve fixture with obviously the amount of lads we've got on there. So for me, it shows what he's wanting to do. He's turned down offers from clubs in our league that he wants to come and be part of it with us, and that's a credit to him. He's obviously come through Milovic Ali. Obviously he was on loan with us a few years ago. He spoke to me and said, look, we're going to have a look at a lad that I know, and he's come up with his training, he's done really well, and obviously it's now time for me to sort of make a decision on him.
A fine first goal, and quite a good second goal too. I thought that was a great finish from Josh Palmer.
Yeah, fantastic. I thought Josh led the line really well tonight, and I think obviously it's little things that we need to tidy up with the young lads when we're talking about little things, getting control of the ball, not trying to be too far ahead of yourself before we've got control of it, these type of things. But that all comes with experience and playing against senior players. We played against two good centre halves tonight, and he's done really well up there. And it was a great move from us, obviously, with the centre half stepping in, Owen playing the ball through to Kane slipping in Josh. So over the mirror of the goal, and like I say, there's not much I can go away from here tonight and say I'm really disappointed with that, because it was a top team performance tonight.
They were also going to have a spell, and came in the second half. We conceded a penalty, a bit harsh I thought, but the lads responded well after that and dug in deep, so the game out comfortably in the end.
Yeah, I think obviously we spoke at half time, and as serious as it sounds, it's not a bad thing sometimes to go 2-1, because I get to see what the lads are made of. The young lads that could have quite easily gone under there against an experienced team who will load the ball in the box at every opportunity, which they did, and I thought they stood up to it, and credit to the boys, they did really well tonight, and that's another sort of experience they can put down now. So as we've said to them in there, the development squad is about the development of the results on a Saturday isn't what we're bothered about. We're trying to get as many of them players through into the first team as we can. We're going for our adjustment in there. There's 10 or 11 that we've traded with the first team already this season, so it's doing what we want, but we put a bit of pressure on them tonight and said it's a cup competition, that we want to go far in, that we want to do well in, and now we take it back. It is about the result. You can see that with game management, we're taking time and we're going to throw ins, and we're staying down that a little bit longer, and that's what we have to do. It's part and parcel of the game. So tonight it's another bit of experience for them that they've come up against a very good team and they've stood up to the challenge. They played really well in the first half in possession, and they've dug in the second half. And like I say, I think there was chances on both ends in the second half, but we stood up to it and got the result we needed.
Excellent performance tonight. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Okay, joined with opposition team manager Danny Granger tonight. Danny, a fantastic performance from yourselves. 2-1 victory. Any thoughts on the game?
I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a really good game. I thought obviously first half I thought that we were on top. I thought we moved the ball really well and thoroughly deserved the lead. I thought second half, Windscale came out and had a right goals and obviously got the penalty to make it 2-1, and then I felt like the game couldn't go either way, and then I thought we had chances and Windscale had chances, but the boys stood for the challenge that was put in front of them and were able to get the result, which is the main thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of just touching on one of your players, Danny Eccles, obviously, he's a backup to Jim Atkinson in the first team. He came out tonight and shone brightly, if you ask me.
Yeah, I thought Danny was fantastic. I think obviously, credit to the lad, he could have had the night off tonight, but he wanted to come and play and get another 90 minutes under his belt. And he's helped the young lads as well, because I think the last 10 minutes they could have quite easily gone sat deep and got deeper and deeper as the game went on. He wouldn't let them, he kept them squeezed up, and again, he's a credit to himself. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. At most other clubs he'll be playing week in, week out, and again, I'm really delighted to have him back, but it was. Yeah,
on the perspective of looking from the outside in, Danny, what do you make of Windscale as a team?
Very good, very well organised. You can see you can see the threats that they have. I think obviously it's the first time I've been not only to play against them, but to come to the facility as well. I think the facility is a fantastic setup that they've got as a club. I think obviously the players there are experienced, they know what they're doing, they play well as a team together, and I think obviously there's a lot of good players in there that can make a difference on the games, and I think obviously today our lads obviously come out on top, but on another day we know how tough of a game this was going to be, and like I say, we're just delighted to get the 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've come to Windscale, you've played a team which is actually 3 steps lower than you in the football pyramid. Do you think it's good as a team that's higher in the pyramid to maybe drop down a few levels and play a team of this sort of experience to try and get a grasp of what sort of like the grassroots football is like? And do you think it changes anything in the way that you attack the game?
I think for us, obviously, if we were coming here with our sort of strong 11 or first team players, I think obviously tonight you look at the 3 senior lads we have, I think they've probably made a massive difference in the game. Their experience and things like that. We've got a young development team that have come here and done really well. But as you say, we've full respect for the competition, with full respect for any team that we're playing, and we want to go out and win it. On another night, there would have been 5 or 6 first team players here tonight. But again, obviously with the injury list that we've got at the moment, we've got to be very careful. We've got a busy schedule coming up around Christmas. So for us, we have to make sure that them players are fit for Saturday. So we had to come in with a little bit of a reshuffled squad, should we say. Obviously, we had the 3 senior boys, they're mainly development players. But to be able to come here and the lads obviously get a massive experience of playing against good players, a well-organised team, is vital for them, for their development. But as we've said, we wanted the result tonight. We wanted to get through in the cup. It's a competition a bit more. We want to do well in, and tonight obviously we've been able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few more words. You've got 1874 Northwich, or just Northwich if you will, at home at the weekend. Are you expecting much from them as an opponent?
Yeah, look, they're good. They're up there, they're in and around the playoffs. I think obviously they'll look at the game. It is a massive game. I think obviously if we beat them, we put 9 points between ourselves and them. If they beat us, they drag us back to 3 points. So we need to be around the game. We know they're going to be a tough opponent. We've got some really good, strong players. They can score goals, are well organised. So we know that we need to be on it this weekend. Otherwise, we'll end up coming on the wrong side of the result. Yeah, absolutely.
We heard earlier today as well that we've acquired a signing. It's Brad Hubbold coming back from Lancaster City. Obviously instrumental in the term you had previously with the club. So what does a player like Brad add to the system that you've already got at Workington?
Brad's a player that I rate so highly. I think obviously when you had a chance to go and re-sign, I was desperate to re-sign him in the summer, but he chose to go there because he wanted to challenge himself at a higher level. It hasn't quite worked out for him. So we spoke obviously after we'd been granted permission to speak to him. We went and had a conversation and he jumped at the opportunity. I think obviously myself and the players know Brad will go into the squad and he'll improve us again. So if we can keep improving, then we'll be alright this season.
Absolutely. Best luck for the rest of the season, Danny.